Ben Senson is the executive director of BadgerBOTS. Ben Senson, a science teacher by day and president and executive director of BadgerBOTS Robotics Corporation by night. BadgerBOTS focuses on building skilled and capable agents of change by providing them with robotics and STEM-related experiences throughout their developmental years. Please welcome Ben.
Let's make that mild-mannered science teacher by day, master teacher and trainer by summer. But the thing I get recognized the most out in the community is, Mom, it's the robot guy. So, BadgerBOTS Robotics, are we all about the robot? It's true that our kids, from the youngest ages, make Lego robots. They make robots made out of metal and motors. They make robots as big as you and me that are probably faster than you and me. And yet, we're not all about the robots. So what are we using that technology for? What are the robots there for? What are all of our STEM-related programs there for? They're really, to us, just a lure to get kids into our program. Because actually, our primary focus is to do something completely different. What we want to do is shift the way kids think about themselves from being a very small piece of a really big world to instead thinking of themselves as being the biggest gear, the agent of change, the cause of a future that is actually better than the one we found today. Now, if we're going to do that, what we're going to do is make it so kids recognize problems in the world and that the problems they see are valid problems in the world and that they have the capability of finding solutions for those problems, maybe through testing or thinking, collaborating, finding partners, but they actually can go out and change the way things work. All right, so now we got to think about programs. We have to develop a way to engage them to develop their knowledge, their skills, and their abilities. So all of our programs come back to those three things with one more layer, the confidence to actually go out and change the world around them. That's a big change in thinking because a lot of organizations focus on knowledge and skills and ability development, but we're really trying to put kids in that stressful moment where they're persistently challenged, the edge of frustration, that teachable moment where they almost feel like they should go running and screaming, but instead they're really heavily supported through that moment and the learning takes place at the fastest rate possible. From the youngest ages, junior first Lego League, obviously not about the robots. It's nothing but a show me poster and a little display with a simple machine on it, and yet they're demonstrating their knowledge of STEM. By 4th to 9th grade in first Lego League, it shifts, and it's a lot more about the robot. All afternoon, you'll see robots scurrying around a complex field in 2.5 minutes scoring points. But in the morning, they're actually doing judging on research projects, changing something real in the world, and technical knowledge, and core values like gracious professionalism and cooperation. These are kids that invented a better lunchbox on the year it was themed food safety. They pitched it to a major international corporation. You can now go out and buy the Mad Box lunchbox from Land's End. That's an empowered child, and they were 7th graders. That's what we're hoping for. As they get a little older, 7th through 12th grade, they might join our first tech challenge. Now this one's obviously about the robot, right? I mean, it's 4 robots on a field, 2-on-2 alliances, competing directly. And yet it's really not, because your alliance partner in one match is your opponent in the next. You have to be able to get along with everybody regardless of what's going on. And we add a new element. These kids have to maintain, as 7th through 12th graders, a professional grade engineer's journal, a document that tells the story of their entire season's experience from beginning to end. Anybody have a middle schooler or high schooler? Do they like to write anything down? All right, first robotics competition, 9th through 12th grade. This has to be about the robots. It's a giant field in a sports arena, 6 robots, 3-on-3 action. It's huge. And yet the 2 highest awards actually have nothing to do with the robot itself. They celebrate going out into your community and teaching others about STEM and inspiring them to get engaged on their own. And those are the awards our kids, we encourage them to go for by not going for them. Our phrasing is, you don't win the chairmans by going for the chairmans, you win it by doing good acts in the community. So they also do other projects. This is called a sit ski. It's an adaptive technology to take people with spinal cord injuries and allow them to participate in the sport of cross-country skiing. Our kids helped improve the design and then built a factory that untrained labor could come in, and in a single Saturday we could crank out 25 of these. They're now scattered all across North America. My favorite moment in the history of robotics is not about robotics. It's looking over during the Madison Winterfest and seeing 8 empty wheelchairs. That is empowering. What about the kids who don't have that much time to commit because they're in 800 other things? That's where the summer camps come in. In a single week or 2 weeks, we can take kids through a similar experience, maybe not as intense, maybe not as persistent, but when they keep coming back year after year after year, we change them into capable change agents in the world. And that's really what we're doing. Our high school programs run themselves. The kids are in charge of our first robotics program. Now, mentors actually outnumber students because we're popular with the adults too. But that's what we want to achieve. My question for you and the challenge for all of us is to not just look at our direct services, but also ask ourselves, how are we empowering people to act in their own interest as agents of change out in the community? Thank you very much.